All right, let's come to a chin position. Back straight. Point your fingers, curl your thumbs. Right. Then Kyung-ye. Have a good bow. Sign of respect. All right, let's get that body warmed up. So I just want some simple legs in and out. So we're just going to take our legs, bounce them in and out. Make it real simple, kind of like jumping jacks without the arms, right? A little less have to think about. Now do the same thing, but keep your feet together. So now you're going side to side. Okay, regular jumping jacks with your legs. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, instead of going out and in, I want you to go forward and back. So my feet are going to go forward, normal, other foot forward, right? Okay, now I want you to try and keep both feet together. So hop forward and then hop back. So it looks like this, forward and back. Keep it going. Okay, let's try to cross our feet. So I want you to cross your feet and then come back. And another foot will cross in front and back. So cross those feet. Oh, man. All right, let's start jogging. So you're jogging in place. For a nice little jog, right? Just move in. Those shoulders move a little bit. Get those arms loosened up. All right, let's start jogging lower. So lower steps. And then start to speed up the lower steps. You're gonna do a nice little chop. How fast can you go? Right, chopping those feet, getting that body warmed up. All right, back to a jog. Nice and relax. Let's do some high steps. So take those legs, stepping up high. Right, keep them going. Lift your legs. Let's get them up nice and high in the air. Get that heart rate up a little bit. Then we'll get our stretches started. A couple more times, nice and high. All right, let's get a little stretch. Have a seat. Let's put one foot out, one foot in. Back straight, chin up, rotate forward. So keep that chin up. Try and get that body all the way forward if you can. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth, lower yourself down. Now, this whole month we'll be kind of working on something called expectations. We always kind of want to think about what our expectation is for something to see if we're on track. Right? Gives us a way to set some goals. Let's go to the other foot. So, if I do something, I might have an expectation of the result. Meaning, if I touch something hot, I expect it to burn me, right? Not really something I want to test out. I'm just going to expect it to come through. True, right? I'm not going to really set up a goal there. I'm just going to say, yeah, I'm not going to do that because I expect it to not be fun, right? Or if it's snowing outside and I go outside in shorts, I expect it to be cold. Those things I've experienced enough in life where that expectation probably is going to come true, right? I'm right on course with it. But sometimes we set expectations, right? And we just believe, but we never did the homework or have enough experience in the past to really know if that expectation is true, okay? Legs out. So if you have an expectation, you strongly believe something's going to happen. But let's say you believe in the next 12 months of martial arts training, you're going to get 1 belt, 2 belts, a black belt, whatever it is. But you really haven't looked to see whether or not the actions you're taking realistically will turn into that result, right? So let's take a second and think, what is your expectation over the next 12 months? We've been working on this for a couple of weeks, so we'll think you'll have that answer. Next is what kind of goals you have to set, right? Intermittent checkpoints to see if you're on track. And then the last thing you need to look at is what kind of obstacles are going to be in your way? What kind of things you're going to run into that make it harder for you to actually achieve these goals. So something I want you to really be thinking about. You know, what is it you're trying to accomplish and what is the challenges that you'll run into? Keeping that body stretching. And once we know what the challenges are, or we think of them in advance, we start to set up our plans, right, for how we're going to work around them and not let them stop us. Okay, butterfly stretch, touch your feet together. Back straight, grab your legs, pull them in. Push down. Use your elbows to push those legs down, keeping your shoulders back. Drive those legs down to the floor. Arch, trying to rotate those hips into that stretch. Get the inside of those hips stretching. Let's move to the outside of our hips. So one leg straight, one foot over the top. Slide your foot back, get yourself up nice and tall, hip stretch. We're stretching out the outside of our hip. We're not going to do anything too crazy or dynamic today. That way we can maybe do a little bit less stretching, and I can expect you to try and finish some of the more deep stretching at home. Okay, ready? Put your other foot out, put your other foot over the top, slide it up nice and high, keeping your back straight, keeping your chin up. Throughout class, I might stop and watch my people who are doing this live with me, in which case I'm going to ask you to pause any repetition. That'd be at the same time they're doing repetition. So in that situation, go ahead and pause. Do a good amount of repetition on anything we're doing, and then when you're ready to continue with the lesson, feel free to do that. Okay, we're going to go on our back. We're going to pull our knee across our body. So we go flat on our back, and we pull our knee all the way across. We're going to go the opposite direction. Either knee up to your body, pull it up nice and tight first. Oh, get a good stretch, and then across your body. Try to get that body nice and flat. Then you're going to do the last stretch for here. We're going to take our toes, we're going to roll back, try and touch it behind your head. So roll up, see if you can touch your toes. And then legs up, down in front. All right, so I'm going to grab something that I want you to see if you can start to think about how you could use, okay? So I have to grab this real quick so I can see how this works. All right, so I've got this thing that's called an x-ray paper, right? So this x-ray paper is something that we use when we strike things in martial arts. It's very thin, it's kind of like a piece of paper. If you have a piece of paper you could use, that's going to help with our classes today. If you don't have paper, that's fine. We're not going to be writing on it, so it just needs to be anything that you can potentially rip or destroy because you've been using it for martial arts stuff, okay? So here's what happens. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to practice a kick. And what I want you to do with it is we're going to put our hand in a fist and hold against the center of our belly, right? So if you don't have something, that's fine. If you do, this is a very good drill because if my hand is making a fist, not holding it with my palm, but if I'm making a fist and I'm holding it to my belly, when I throw my kicks, if my hand starts to move off my body, then the paper drops. One of the things we're always focused on is make sure we have blocking hands and make sure we have our hand on our belly just fine, okay? So let's get up, get your body ready to go. I got a paper, so I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna put my paper right over my belly. I make a fist and I pull my hand against my belly. So regardless if you have a paper or not, let's get your hand right onto your stomach. So put your hand right on your belly. Put your other hand up in front of your face. Okay, so we make sure we have a blocking hand and we have a hand that's stuck on our solar plexus. Now I'm going to take my knee, I'm going to bring my knee up, and I'm trying to get my knee to my belt level. So I bring my knee up to my belt level. And then I go back down. Remember, if you have something, we're not holding it. We're just making a fist, we're using our hand to push it into our belly. So ready? Knee up and down. Ready? Knee up and down. Now when we throw this kick, I don't want my leg to come up straight. What I want is I want a chamber. When I get my chamber, it's going to add the potential for power. So I bring my knee up and I tuck my foot right into my seat as tight as I can, okay? So my leg comes up tight and down, up and down. Now the next thing we can do with this paper is I can actually work on my ankle coming up the right way. So I put the paper on the floor. So we're going to put it just like this. And I'm going to stand on it with my toes, right? So make sure the bottom of my toes are on the paper. Now when I pick up my leg, I'm going to point my toes and I'm going to try to slide the paper underneath me. So when I pick up my leg, I slide the paper back. See how that kind of works? I'm sliding it when I pick up my knee. Instead of just picking straight up like this, watch my toes. I point my toes and I slide the paper, okay? So now watch this will work. I have the imaginary paper, or if you have two sheets, you could put one on your hand, one on your foot. So I'm here, and I slide it. So see how I kind of kick it back a little bit? So I'm practicing taking my foot and kicking it back. Now it might go super far, or you might go a little bit, depends on the amount of pressure, power you put into it. What I'm practicing doing is flinging it. So when I bring my knee up, I also don't want to bring my leg back behind me. Okay, so watch how this works. I don't want my knee to go behind me on this kick. So I'm not trying to kick the paper across the ground. I'm trying to lift my knee straight up, but still kick the paper. Okay? So remember, my knee comes up, right? But my toes point. And when I point my toes as I pick my knee up, my knee comes straight up and the paper goes flying backwards. Okay? So what I want you to do is do 5 on each side. Now, if you don't have the paper, you imagine it. You take your toes, you curl them under. Maybe even can be like a sock on the floor. Something you can roll, right? So we're here, and I fling it up. Keep my backhand right over my solar plexus, which is a soft spot right underneath where your ribs are. So I'm just going 1, 2, 3, and if I have a paper, I use it. 4, quickly find it, bring it back. and last one, 5. So that's the practice I want you to get down, okay? So I'm gonna stop and watch my live people, make sure they have it down. I want you to do maybe another 5, because I'm going to just do one side. If you're not feeling like it's down real pat, let's add a couple more reps, okay? So at this point, not a lot of people pause, do that repetition. What's gonna happen now is I'm gonna take my foot and I'm going to try to fling it back behind me by pointing my toes as I lift my knees. So my heel's the first thing to come off the ground. And by doing this, I get a tighter chamber and I'll actually lift my knee up faster. So what I'm trying to do is flick it underneath and lift it up. And now I got this tight chamber, right? My leg's up fast. And then we're gonna shoot it out and back. So bring my leg up and then I go out, legs straight and back. Now, if you're super flexible, we're not kicking up high. We're purposely kicking at our belt level or lower. If you're kicking high, you're gonna break your toes, okay? Let me give you an example. So if I have something, watch here. Let's say I have a wave master. This will represent a person, right? Let's say I try to kick at the chest of a person. If I have my toes pointed like we're doing a front kick and I kick, what hits the target first? My toes. I'm gonna break them, right? That's not gonna be good or healthy for my foot. So that would be a different kind of kick. It'd be a thrust kick, which is more of a punching. We're doing a flinging kick. So we can't kick something flat. I can't kick the person in the body because my toes will hit. What I'm thinking about doing on this strike is kicking the bottom of something. So something is here and I'm kicking the bottom of it. So I'm trying to kick it and bounce it up. Like you would kick the bottom of a soccer ball and bounce it up. So you would kick the person below the belt. Okay, so it's a speed kick. Or someone's hand, you could kick it, okay? So we practice having our hands up. You point your toes, you lift your heel, right? Like you're flinging something behind you, like you're dragging your toes back. As soon as your leg's up, your foot comes to your seat, you go out, back to your seat, and then back to the floor. So now if you have papers and you need to work on the ankle, put it on the floor. If you need to work on the hand control, put it on your belly, right? This way I work on kicking. The good fling motion, hand doesn't move from the belly, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so we're gonna get a couple of repetitions. Let me just adjust something real quick. And we're gonna get some front kicks. So everyone get up, get ready to go. You're gonna show me the kick in. All right, ready? Let's see those kicks now. So when I say go, if you have something, hold it on your belly or use it on your foot. All right, ready? Fast front kick, go. Up tight. Snaps on back, and then down. Now, let me show you one more piece before we get a lot of repetitions. Watch my knee. See how my knee kind of just flings up and drops? Watch my knee this time. It comes up right to belt level, then it sticks. Then my foot goes out and back, and my knee is still stuck there. So it's like it hit a wall and it stopped. Your knee shouldn't keep going up past your belt, right? So it hits my belt with my foot on my seat, out back the whole time not moving, okay? So keep those hands up, keep your back hand on your solar plexus, front hand in front of you, and a fast front kick. Ready? Go! And then you have the yell. Ready? Go! Ready? Go! And then balance. See if you can just balance on one foot, keeping that knee at belt level, controlling those hands, and then setting down. You should be able to balance for about 3 seconds after your kick. If I kick and I immediately have to set down, I'm not very under control, which means my kick's not going to be that great. If I kick and then I could stand here for a while, that means I'm under control and I'm balanced. That's what I'm looking for. So try this time to kick and then not set down and balance. So hands are up, front kick, go, and then just balance. 1, 2, 3, and then you go down. All right, let's see it again. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, and then you go down. Ready? Hands up. Go. 1, 2, 3, and then you go down. All right, last one on the side. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, and then you sit down. Okay, so again at this point, you don't watch live people. If you've only done one leg, you have to do the other leg, right? If you feel like it's not down, don't just do 5, do 10 on each leg. Okay, go back and do a couple on the other leg, get 10 on the second one. All right. So I have my paper again, right? So if you're holding the paper out in front of you, a piece of paper, you can practice actually kicking the target if you want. So that's one option you can do if you haven't been doing a hit anything. It's a little fun to hit something. You just hold it out at your belt, you extend it out, and you practice your snap kick, right? And then you have a nice target. It's at your belt level because then afterwards you can have your knee pointed right at that target. Now, something I see once in a while is we do have some people with a little bit of balance problems, right? So we kick and we're falling. So I want to remind you the key to balancing on this kick is putting your belly button right on the top of the center of your foot. So if you look down for a second, if you're standing tall, you look down and you look at your foot, find the center of your foot and put your belly button right on top of the center of your foot. So make sure your belly button's right over the top. And then the next thing is to get your head straight up and down. So if you have your head straight up and down and your back straight and your belly button's over the center of your foot, you should be able to balance, right? It's not too bad. Now let me show you another use for this. If you put this, or a book, right, or a pillow, something on your head, and you practice just keeping your spine straight, you put your belly over your foot, and you pick your foot up, and then you can balance, right? So posture is going to be very important just in life and for your body mechanics, but also for balancing on one foot. So if you have something you can put on your head, right? Find something you can put on your head that's not going to fall and break or damage the floor, right? Don't put something that's hard on your head. And then try to see if you can just stand tall and balance. Balance right on your head. So just keeping your back straight, right? Your spine is straight, your back straight, your chin is up. You're not looking down, you're not looking up, you're looking straight ahead. Just be able to balance something on your head. And every once in a while it'll fall off, right? There we go. It falls off, just catch it, start over. It's okay. Then practice like I talked about with your belly button. So balance, find your balance point, put your belly button over the center of one of your feet, and then pick up your other foot. Right, so I'm trying to balance right over the center of my foot. My belly button's the center of my foot, my spine is straight, my head is straight, so I can balance. You just practice doing this. Then you go to the other foot. You lean on the other foot, belly button over the center of your foot. Now right now, if I look down, it'll fall off, so I have to just kind of start to figure out where that is and pick up my foot. Now if you don't know where that is, it's okay. Look down, line up yourself, feel that your foot's heavy and the other one's light, that usually means you're there. Then have your back straight, put it back on your head, and pick your foot up. Right? You can balance it. So now we can work on that balancing. Another place you can put this paper is right on your knee. So I get my balancing point and my head straight, pick up my knee, and I just rest it up there. And I see how long I can hold my leg up nice and straight for it, because that way if it starts to come up too high, it'll slide into me. If it starts to go down too low, it'll start to slide off. Right? So we can also start to put it there. Now let's imagine we had a bunch of papers or a bunch of things we could balance. You could put one on your head, you could put one on your knee, you could hold one against your belly, right? We can just keep balancing. Another exercise I have people do with their kick is make a fist. Put it right at your nose level, and then put this right on your fist. And then practice doing your front kicks, right? Because then I teach myself to what? Not move my hand. So if you had a lot of things to balance, you could first put one on your head, right? So you're balancing. You could have one that you're holding on your belly, so your hand's not moving. You could have one that's on your hand, right? And when it's on your hand, you're ready to throw the kick. You could have one on the floor, so you start the kick the right way. So you could start to use just a simple piece of paper, maybe a sock, tennis ball, whatever it is you have that you're not going to destroy the house with, right? And start to use those small things to really improve a simple thing about your stance, right? And they're very mechanically easy to do. It's very hard discipline to do, right? That's one of the hardest parts of martial arts. It doesn't take a lot of talent to do some of these things. Now jump spin kicks do, they take a lot of talent, but some of these things are actually relatively easy to do compared to some stuff, right? But they take discipline. You have to have the discipline to make yourself do it, because sometimes we want to go faster than we're ready for. So if you have something, I want you to practice rotating it between your belly, the top of your head for balancing, maybe your top front fist, right? This one where you're blocking with, right? You can even practice on the floor where you're flicking it back behind you. And we're just gonna throw some front kicks. So just for a minute, we're gonna throw front kicks. And I don't care what side it is. Try to be pretty equal what you do. I'll give you a warning when we're halfway through, but for 1 minute, we throw great snapping front kicks. So remind you, your knee is about level. Your weight is right over the center of your foot. Your belly button's over the center of your foot. Your head's up high. Back hand's on your solar plexus. Front hand's out at nose level. When you start picking your foot up, your heel comes up first, and then your toes curl under you so that you're trying to kick your butt for a full chamber. And then after you kick, your knee is still about level, your foot's all the way back to your seat. You try to balance for 3 seconds to make sure you're not off balance while you're kicking, and you sit down, never letting your hands or your head move. Okay, so are we ready? So I'll start the clock, 1 minute. I'll do some kicks with you. I'm gonna start with it here, and a kick, right? Maybe I'll try my other side of my hand to make sure my hand's not moving, and a kick. And every once in a while, I just check that balance, just make sure I can balance forever, right? Make sure we're throwing the kicks. I'm watching my live view. Make sure we're throwing the kicks. Got it on my head. Arms under control. Good front kick, not letting it fall off my head. Woo! On top of my fist, right? We get it right on top of your fist. Good snapping kick. Maybe I put it on top of my other fist. Make sure my hand's not moving. Body control, right? I put it on top of my head. So it's on my head, I'm getting my snap kicks. Nice control, not letting that body move, keeping the hands in place. Good snaps, we're halfway through. Right at this point, if you haven't done that leg, make sure you're switching back and forth. Just trying to figure out where is the place that needs the most help. And this thing will tell me, right? If I'm moving my head, if I'm kicking wrong and I start looking down, this will fall off, right? If I'm jumping all around my standing leg, it'll fall off. If I'm kicking my backhand, is not staying on my belly, it'll drop. So it's a nice little instructor. It's like your own teacher at home because it tells you what things you have to work on. Okay, take a time, that's 1 minute. So now, if you were doing this at home, you don't have a teacher, or you don't have someone who understands the mechanics and tell you what to fix, you do this. You just put it there, right? You try to do 10 in a row, it doesn't come off your belly on the inside. So now if I get 10 in a row, I have this problem down, right? I don't have to worry about that. I put it on this fist, try and get 10 in a row, where I kick 1, 2, and every time I sit down, so I practice the full kick, right? If I get 10, then that's good to go. I have 10 in a row on my head. You can start to use this. This is your teacher. If it falls, you're doing something wrong, fix it. If it stops falling, you probably stop doing things wrong, right? Does that make sense? So when we're doing front kicks, this is a very good tool for you to use to try to make sure that kick gets a little bit better. I'm gonna put this down for a second. There we go. And come back out here again. All right, the next thing I wanna look at is just some simple hand strikes, okay? Because I wanna see if we can improve on that. So what I want you is put your hands on your hips, put your feet apart. This is real simple, hands on your hips, feet apart, not a hard challenge, right? I'm gonna take my body and I'm gonna shift my legs. I'm gonna bend this knee, and I'm gonna bend this knee. I'm gonna go back and forth. Now I'm not twisting. I'm not doing any turning right now, I'm just shifting. So I shift this way, and then I shift this way. I shift this way, and I shift this way, right? Now, we understand how to do that. Don't fall down, don't pop your ankle. I want you to shift very, very fast. So I want you to bend your knee here, and then shift here real fast. And then shift here real fast. Now, when you do that, what does it feel like? It feels like you're gonna fall over, right? Your weight wants to keep going because now you have body weight traveling across the ground, right? And you don't have to understand all the physics behind it. That's totally okay. I want you to understand that if I move my weight to this foot and I quickly shift it to this foot, it's pulling me forward, right? That's gonna be power. If I hit something with that body weight, that's power. Now, if I'm deciding it's okay to hit someone, I'm probably figuring out that I'm in danger and I need to remove the threat. So I've determined it's okay to hit someone. And if I hit someone who's a threat and I hit them just a little bit, there's a good chance they're gonna get mad instead of hurt, and then they're gonna beat me up worse, right? So if I decide that I'm in enough danger that I have to hit someone, I wanna hit them hard enough that they don't wanna hit back. They just wanna get out of there, they wanna leave, right? Or hit them hard enough that they can't hit back. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of my feet, I'm gonna turn it. So I'm gonna turn this foot this way. Okay, real simple. One towards you, one that way. Get my feet a little bit farther apart, right? This is a long range punching, right? This would be our close range punching. Now I'm gonna start to practice feeling my weight shift from my back leg to my front leg. So I shift my weight, back leg, front leg. You can feel that body weight traveling forward, right? I'm shifting my weight. So whenever you hear an instructor say, shift your weight, that's what they're talking about. You're shifting weight from one foot to another foot. I'm moving my body weight across the ground, right? Kind of like a really boring dance move, okay? So now, if I add a twist motion, I get more power. We understand that twisting makes our body go faster and stronger. So let's work on our twist. So back to hands on your hips, feet straight ahead. We're gonna twist. Now, in order to twist properly, my weight has to shift. So I'm gonna bend this knee, I'm gonna twist this foot. Then I come back, it's kind of like my golf swing, right? Shift my weight to this leg, twist this foot. So I don't want to, watch my body weight, I don't want to stand in the center of my stance and turn my foot, because that's just twisting. I want to shift my weight and twist. Now, if I shift my weight, my body weight's moving forward, I get more power, right? If I twist, I get more power. But I want them both at the same time. So here's the challenge. Watch this. Get your feet apart. My weight's on this leg. I'm going to start to shift, and as I get close to the spot where I'm going to be on my other leg, right before I get to that point, I'm going to twist. Okay? I'm going to put my weight here. I'm going to start to shift, and as I'm getting there, I twist. So right when my weight hits this leg, my pivot stops. Right? Go here, twist. Let it go to the other one. Twist. You can see that I'm moving across the ground, so I'm not standing in the center. See how my head isn't moving? It's staying in the center. I'm twisting. That's great for dancing, right? And the twist is better than no twist, but I want to shift my weight, right? I want my weight to travel across the ground on these pivots. Now, if you're thinking of elbows, palm heels, ridge hands, boxing hooks, all of these strikes are going to benefit from a weight shift and a pivot motion, okay? So this is something I want you to practice. All of your hand strikes you're throwing are going to benefit from this. So now let's take our stance. Create a stance again. Our front foot is straight ahead, our back foot is still sideways. I'm going to load my back weight, my weight on my back leg. I'm not going to be like leaning back like this, right? Not like I'm not throwing a baseball from here to home plate. But I'm going to just shift my weight to my foot, so not outside of my stance. So now I'm going to shift by bending my front knee and pulling my weight to my front leg, and then twist, right? So I'm trying to get same time. Now watch my belt. I'll tell you about twisting for a second. Watch my belt. If I twist like this, does my belt move? No, right? It's not turning your foot, it's turning your hips. Your foot has to turn to keep your balance and to help drive, but it's your hips. We don't twist our foot pivots, and that's what allows us to get around, but it's our hips. It's the hip motion, right? So I want you to try this. Make your belt fling back and forth. Right? Can you feel that hip power when you're flinging your belt back and forth? That's pivoting. It's in your hips. Our foot has to pivot to allow that to happen all the way, but it's our hips that twist. So I'm in my stance, weight on the back leg. I'm going to drive myself to this leg, and then I'm going to snap my hips, right? I'm twisting my hips, and the result is my foot pivots, right? If I just pivot my foot alone, nothing happens. So it's your hips that are important, all right? Because if I just do my hips and no foot, I can still get some power. My foot allows me to get the most power. So I go here, snap the hips, okay? I might go the other way. My foot is here. I'm going to drive myself forward. So I drive off this leg and I snap my hips. So I'm twisting my hips. I'm not turning my foot. I'm snap my hips. My foot is part of the process. So I go here, snap. Way back, snap. Here, snap. Twist the hips, proper pivots. Here, snap. So we have weight shifting. We have the snapping. And then we have proper muscle use. A lot of times when I watch people do this, they use the wrong muscle. So I'm going to get closer to the camera because you don't even see my feet anymore. But now, what happens when I do this, see this? My arm is rubbing against my belly. Right? When I push, so put both hands like this. Okay? Put them on the side of your body. Like you're going to make a big chi ball, right? Okay, so take your elbows, rub your elbows, so squeeze your elbows into your body, like squeeze them into you, and push, dragging your arms across your body. That's going to flex all your muscles back here and the back here, and it's going to give you power, okay? Put your arms here and push. Does it feel the same? Are you flexing the same? So I curl my arms, so I curl them in like this, and I push, I can flex my back muscles. When I go here, I can also flex muscles. It'll be much, much harder to do. So I don't want to punch like this. I want to punch using my back. So I'm trying to squeeze this muscle. So I'm squeezing my arm in. So I'm rubbing my arm back and forth. I'm trying to make that muscle there work, right? So I want you to keep your elbows in, and I want you just to go like this back and forth with your arms, right? You can see my arm here. This part of my arm is just rubbing. Can you hear that? Okay, so rub the elbow. So let me see that. Keep your arm in real close. Rub. You can just work on just making that motion. Okay? So now when I start pushing the right way, I can take and I can flex this muscle. I squeeze my arm into my body and I flex. I flex the back of my arm and I flex my back muscle. I drive. Now once my arm starts to get out, now if I keep driving, I feel like I'm missing something. I'm no longer using those muscles. So now I turn my hand over, and now I finish with the front of my body. Now I push to my chest muscles, okay? So remember, rub your elbow. Once you get out, once your arm is out in front, then you turn your hand over and lock your arm. Okay? And depending on the height and how we're punching, we might have our hand sideways. Right now, we're going to turn all the way over, palm down. So ready? Take your arm, rub it. Keep pushing your elbow. Keep it tight as you can. Keep it in, keep it in. So my elbow is on the inside of my body. It's coming straight out, and then it turns. And I pull back. Just try to snap. When I pull back, I twist it back. So ready? Rub your elbow out. When the elbow starts to get past your body, turn it down and lock your arm. So just work an arm. Rub your elbow. Make sure you practice both sides. We do a lot of these punches in our horseback stance punches, and the purpose of that is to teach you to punch the right way. You would never get in a horseback stance and punch people, right? The purpose is just to teach that mechanic. So here, twist, rub your elbow on the inside. Once you get your elbow out past your body, start to turn down. So rub and punch. Okay, so now let's look at putting it all together again. So I'm gonna back up a little bit for you again so you can see my feet. Right, so now I'm gonna have my weight shifting, right? I'm gonna have my hip twisting, and then I have my punching. Now, in order for this to work, I have to do all three, right? So if I want to throw a baseball, properly, there are some mechanics that go into it, right? If I want to throw it real far, I'm going to take it and I'm going to really try and step into that motion, right? So when I throw, I'm going to step, and now I got body weight, right? I'm running. So now when I'm running, right, I get my body weight. So part of a throw would be body weight. I twist my body for part of my throw to get more rotational speed, right? And then I move my arms, and I actually move it with a bend in my elbow and then a release. You don't throw the ball like this. It doesn't work, right? We need this elbow and snap, right? But if I were to throw a baseball like this, stop, 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 and throw, it wouldn't go very far. What happens is you have to have all of those things happen at the same time so they get on top of each other, right? Then I have the speed from the step, I have the speed from the rotation, and I have the power of the arm used properly. So same thing with a punch. If I want to punch properly, the goal is to have all those things building power and speed happening and finishing at the same exact time. So let's get in our stance. We'll do a slow motion one. My arm is on my solar plexus. That way my elbow is tight to me. I'm going to shift my weight. As I'm shifting weight, I'm going to start to drive my hips and rotate my foot. My arm is coming out using my back muscles, then bang, I turn my hand down, right? So see if you can start to do the shift, the twist, and the muscle use all together. Not 1, 2, 3, okay? So my arm's going to start, my body's going to start, my twist, everything same time, it's all going to finish same time. Punch. Back, right? So you see how that works? It's a shift, a pivot, and a punch all together. Now, the best thing to do sometimes is go slow. If I'm starting to feel like there's no power there, then I go slower and I practice same time, right? So everything finishes together. So arms on our body, shift, rotate, pop, all at the last second. Okay? Now, if my elbow pops out early, if you watch here, you can see in this angle, watch my hand. My hand turned down. See how it's palm down? Where's my elbow? It's out. Am I using the proper muscles? No, right? Watch now. Now as I come up, where's my elbow? It's behind my fist, right? Which means it's a nail. It's going in straight. Is my nail going to come at you straight right now? It's going to be like a chop, right? See how that works? How this is back here? If I was shooting an arrow or a nail at you, I would want it like this in a straight line, right? So it comes out solid. If I shot a nail at you this way, it would hit you and then just wrap around. So remember, drive that elbow into your body. Keep your elbow super tight so you're rubbing your arm, because then it's a nice straight line. So I'm going to give you some time. If you're not going to lie, people, I want you just to rep this. A lot. Literally like 100 times. I want you to rep this punch. Practice your shifting, rubbing of your elbow, and not turning down to the last second. And trying to put it together so you can punch nice and strong and solid. Live people want to watch you, get ready to go. All right, for the people who aren't live, welcome back. Appreciate you sticking in there, getting those reps. Hopefully you got like 100. Essentially, things that we're looking for is that body control. On both of these techniques today, the punch and the front kick, my spine is straight up and down. keep my head up is going to help with rotation, it's going to help with balance. Like I said, when you kick, right, try to kick and just control. Just keep yourself in that position for 3 seconds. It's going to work the leg strength, it's going to work the core muscles for balance, and it's only going to get better with repetition. Thinking about it won't do it, okay? When we punch, work on the shifting, the rotating, and the rubbing of your elbow. If you have to, one thing that will help you is if you find your hand is turning down early and your elbow's coming out, just throw punches with your hand palm up, just so you can practice rubbing your elbow on your body, okay? If your basics are strong, your martial arts are strong. So we're gonna come to a hinge position, feet together, point your fingers, curl your thumbs, put them on the side of your body, nice and tall, so meaning pay attention, and then kyungye, meaning bow. And then as usual, thank you for joining me today, and I want to see you in class as soon as we can get you back.